Welcome everyone. This is video 2 of our new series on Business Writing to Fluency Lab. Welcome, this is Shanti Kumaraswamy Street, your business English trainer and coach here at English with a Twist. Today we are looking at video 2, which is all about telling your story. So hope you can join me here live. If you can't, don't worry. This will be on the eWord Club for you to listen to and watch later. Hi Jen, I can see you then. I can see Vasiliki. Great, good to see. And Victoria, lovely that you've joined us. Thank you so much. And Keiko, so lovely that you could make it here again. Hi Jen, lovely to see you. Right, so this is video 2. What did you think of video 1? So we looked at the introduction of the program, which is the Business Writing to Fluency Lab, which is my 4-week program that I'm going to be delivering from starting the 14th of May, ending the 8th of June. It's a program to get you ready to deliver your 10-minute talk to an audience of your choice in business. So we're looking at different talks that you might want to do, and we're looking at how you use writing to structure that talk so that you feel confident and you feel courageous when giving that talk to your audience and to get the result that you're looking for. And that result could be different things like we discussed yesterday. In today's video and in today's program, I want to talk about telling your story. Now, we are wired as human beings to love stories. You know, for centuries, if you look at in all the different tribes, we've always learned, ever since we discovered fire, we have sat around fire camps and telling stories to each other. I'm just breaking up. Hi Aisha, lovely to see you here. Good morning. So stories have been a fundamental part of our history, of our cultures. In different cultures, we all share our stories, and we all have stories to tell each other. You know, whether it's what your weekend was, did you sleep well, you know, good morning, how are you, did you sleep well? So you start telling a story. You know, everywhere we turn, we're telling stories to each other without even realizing that. But how do we tell a story in business? And this is what, you know, where do you find the stories in businesses? And you find stories everywhere. That's the simple answer. Now, I was looking in preparing for this video. I was reading an article in Inc.com, which by Carmine Gallo, who shared he wrote an article about how Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, has got rid of any PowerPoint presentations in his business meetings. He does not want to see any PowerPoint presentations. He wants people to tell a story. He wants to use narrative in telling stories. And in this article that Carmine shares, he writes about 3 reasons why stories are far more effective when we want to talk to an audience, talk to people. The first point he makes is that our brains, according to a lot of neuroscientists, is that we're hardwired to listen to stories. You know, we remember and retain information much better when we tell a story. And you get that, don't you? Because, you know, I can give you a lot of information. And if you're giving a talk where your talk is going to be full of information, full of data, think about how easy is that going to be for your audience to hear that and retain that information? Very little. Well, I mean, I would be amazed unless they are hardwired, they're tuned into doing that. What is going to be much more effective is to tell a story, to build a story around what you're trying to tell your audience. So whether it's data, I mean, if it's really boring data, you can create a story around it. And so it is far better for an audience, any of us, to have a story. because we will absorb that information much easier. Secondly, stories are very persuasive. And in this article, Carmen Gallo refers to Aristotle, the famous Greek philosopher, who was very persuasive in his stories. And there are three parts of storytelling. Three parts. There's one part that is to do with credibility. So your story has to be credible. It also has to be logical in the sense that it needs to flow. It needs to be coherent so that people can understand the start and the finish to your story. And finally, there has to be emotion. It has to resonate with your audience. And you can have logic, you can have coherent story, you can have a story that is credible, but without the emotion, you are not going to capture your audience's attention as well as you want. So emotion is really important. If you think of the famous speakers, the talkers, the presenters, think of your Steve Jobs, think of all the leading entrepreneurs we hear. We listen to TED Talks, or you've listened to inspirational leaders. They've always told a story. You think of Martin Luther King Jr., he said about, I have a dream. That's a story. Yeah, he didn't give you the facts about what it was living in segregation America. He gave you a story of what he wanted. When I share with you ideas about, business English and how you want, yes, I mean, we can talk about hard facts, about what, communicating well in English is going to be. But if I gave you a story, it is going to resonate with you far more than if you were just given hard facts. And we all like to tell stories. We like to also use anecdotes. Now, one of the things that Jeff Bezos does a lot, Jeff Bezos of Amazon, is he looks at anecdotes. And what are we talking about in anecdotes in business? He looks at, for example, customer experiences. So customers write in, they'll say, well, what they thought about the delivery for Amazon. When you buy a book on Amazon or buy anything on Amazon, they often ask you for reviews. Now, the customer experience, the customer story, your client's experience of you, your customer's experience of your products is invaluable information that you want to share with other people, because that is what's going to inspire other people to want to use you. Because I can tell you about how wonderful my product is, but if I don't share a story with you about how my product changed someone else's life, it's not going to have the same impact. So I can, for example, if you're a medical device company, you make a series of pumps and it's all wonderful, great. And these are the features of our pump and this is the benefit, blah, blah, blah. Now, if you want to make it more effective, if you want to bring in emotion, bring in a story, bring in an experience of a hospital or a doctor who used your pump or who used your product, and show them tell the story of how that changed that person's life. We love stories, and that's what we want to do. That's how we bring our talk, our 10-minute talk, alive to an audience. It's not just giving hard facts. And we all like stories. And if anyone tells me, but I don't know how to tell stories, it's not true. We all know how to tell stories. Now, so don't feel when you're giving a talk, don't rely on your bullet points. People don't use bullet points. They are not inspired by bullet points. They want your story. So if you are going to use presentations and use PowerPoint or slides, you want to use visuals. Visuals paint 1,000 words. Yes, so fewer bullet points. But in this program, the Business Writing to Fluency program, I'm not interested in you putting together a PowerPoint presentation. I want you to be to feel confident and courageous enough to stand up or sit down wherever you feel comfortable to be able to talk for 10 minutes about a story. And this is why you need to think about what is your story. And for any story, you need purpose. You need to know why you want to tell that story. Is it because you want to inform your audience, or is it because you want to persuade them, or is it to inspire them, or do you want to inspire them to take action? So, yesterday I talked about some business topics that you could use in the program that you could have. And we talked about, for example, maybe you have to welcome visitors to your site, to your offices. Maybe you're someone who's going to show them around. And initially, you are going to give them a brief story about your company. So, there could be a story about the company, how the company was formed, the story of your brand, why did you start, what was the inspiration. Similarly, you could give an anecdote about, an experience a visitor had visiting your site, and, something that would make someone think, oh yeah, this is interesting. I see. And it resonates with them. Now, it might not resonate with everyone, but you are at least sharing a human side of your brand, of your company, of your product. We talked about budget proposal. Maybe you have to give an important budget, you want to put forward a budget proposal to your board of directors. How do you create a story from that? Because you're thinking, well, Shanti, it's very boring. What am I going to say? Well, you could develop the story around the previous year's budget. Tell the story about how that evolved and what had happened and what you discovered, what worked, what didn't work. There are lots of things that can then develop that story, and that is a story. You might think, well, no, that's not a story, but it is, because you're taking people from the start to the finish, developing it and taking them to where you want them to end up. Similarly, if you're at a trade fair and you're pitching for your products, you are giving brief presentations. And I've been there before. I've been to trade fairs where, you're talking to people, but you need to engage with them. So you need to tell them a story. Now, it doesn't always have to be a story from, maybe it could be an anecdote. You could be talking about this and about your product, and then give a customer experience. Again, saying, recently we had a customer, and maybe talking about a problem that customer had and how you solved that problem with your product. So there are lots of different ways that you can create a story from if you're thinking about, I don't know what business topic to talk about in this program, there are lots of things. And what I will be doing once you sign up to this program is I'll be sending you an application form that says, what would you like to talk about? What is the business topic you'd like to talk about? And keep it specific, keep it real, keep it something that you do maybe day to day, or something that you do which is a crucial part of your business. But keep it small, keep it something where, yes, I could do this in 10 minutes. And then and then we would talk about how you tell your story with this business topic. And so it doesn't have to be this long, I have to give a presentation about my entire company and this normally takes 45 minutes. Well, no. Okay, I hope we haven't broken up. We want to talk about people who are going to, you're developing a story from your topic, not just not talking about a long presentation. Yeah, so we want to break it down, keep it very specific. And in this program, this is what I'm going to be very much doing. I'm going to be asking you and helping you develop that story. So all stories have a purpose, and I will ask you, what is the purpose of your story? Tell me. And then you need to know that purpose before you start telling it, before you start structuring that story. And then I help you in terms of how this could work. How could you work out the story and how could you arrange it? In tomorrow's video, I'll be talking about how writing will help you develop and structure the story you want to tell in that 10-minute talk. And in that writing, we will look at how you organize that information. So once you have a purpose, once you know the story you want to tell, then you think about how you're going to structure it. So in this 4-week program, in the first week, we very much look at the topic that you want and the story you want to tell. And I give you guidance and I share with you. Now, you're not spending hours on this. You can spend, a few minutes here and there developing this story that you want. So what I always say to my clients, use something that you already use. Don't try and invent something new. Use something that you do all the time now that you would like to improve on in English. And so we then develop it. So don't reinvent the wheel, as we say. Don't start from scratch something, because that would be too overwhelming. Keep it manageable. And so, this is where I help you to do that. And then we then in the first week, that's very much developing that story. What do you want to say? What do you want to do? What's the story going to be like? Okay, great. So you have that outline. And then in the second week, you start structuring what you want to write about for that. And so tomorrow we'll be looking at why writing is so essential to develop that 10-minute talk. What does writing do for you to make that talk much easier and give you that confidence? And it saves you time, it saves you energy. So I'll be talking to you much more about writing in tomorrow's talk. Now, a bit about this program, if I've got you excited about the program starts on the 14th of May until the 8th of June. So it's a 4-week program. You have plenty of time to develop your story, to develop your talk. So for those of you who say to me, you don't have time, you do have time. And I'll show you how on Saturday, video 4 about how where you're going to find the time to do this. So I hope this given you some ideas. So this is the 4-week plan. So 14th of May to the 8th of June. And I will show you how also you can plan to work on your story. And the program, it costs £300, but I have an early bird discount for my participants. So if you book by the 7th of May, which is next Monday, then you pay £200. The program is open to a maximum of 10 participants. I want to keep this group small so that we can talk together and share ideas together. So if you book your spot now, and if you want this, if you like this program, then do book your spot now. Tomorrow I'll be back at 10 o'clock to talk more about writing. In the meantime, if you have any questions about the program, I'll be sharing the link again to the sales page so you can have a bit more of a read. And if you have any questions, then just let me know. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. And I hope I've given you some inspiration about that story. Remember, we all have a story to tell, and there is a story in every little thing we do. And the question is, share with me your business topic, and I can give you some ideas, about how you could create that story. And it doesn't have to take you long. A week is plenty of time to develop that story, to think about what you want to share in that crucial 10-minute talk you have to give your clients. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a fabulous day, and I shall see you tomorrow. Ciao for now. This is Shanti Kumaraswamy Street here at English with a Twist. And see you tomorrow. Bye.